I remember that morning so clearly. It was only about a month ago, and I was doing my usual routine because I don't wake my mom up until around 9:30. That's what we've kind of figured out is her sweet spot. She does have Alzheimer's, and so I find if she gets up before 9:30, she's really out of it. And so I was just having my coffee, doing some work, getting stuff together, and then it was about 9:20, and I walk in there to be like, "Good morning, mom," and expect her in her bed, and I don't see her in her bed. And I just had pure panic, and I thought, okay, maybe she's in the bathroom. I turn around and I see her lying on the floor. And that's when I was like, "Oh my God, mom." And my daughter, who's 12, her name is Ashby, and she comes running in because I'm just like, "Oh my," like I'm such in such shock. And my mom's on the floor. She's leaning away from me so I don't see her face. And then I kind of run over to her and I'm checking her. I'm kind of touching her head, making sure she's not bleeding. Thank God she's on the carpet because it's softer space to be. I don't know how long she's been laying there. That made me feel horrible that she's under my watch and she's been laying there for God knows how long. She doesn't even know how long because with Alzheimer's, they don't know. And so she could tell me 10 minutes. She could tell me an hour. She doesn't know. And so, anyway, I check her head. I don't feel any bumps or anything. There's no blood. And she looks really out of it. And so I'm like, I try and like prop her up. There was like a door and a wall nearby. So I kind of scooch her and those pillows that you lean against in bed, like it kind of is really cushy and that has kind of arm things that come out. So Ashby got one of those for her that she has in her room, and we kind of moved her and propped her up slowly against the door. And I was asking her, but she really didn't know, and she just said she was dizzy and went down. And she had been dizzy lately, which I knew about. And I called her doctor. They were doing blood tests, so we were waiting on results. But I was like, oh my gosh, she just went to the bathroom and then came back and got dizzy and went down. And God knows how long she's been here. So the scary part is she looked out of it, which because I'm sure she didn't sleep well for however long she was down, and we couldn't get her up. She was, I thought my son came in too to try and help, and we were trying to get her up and like her feet under her and like pull her up. But I thought one of us is going to get hurt. Either she's going to get hurt because we pulled too hard on her, which I didn't want to happen. I didn't want my mom actually hurt her back 29 years ago trying to help my dad up when he was sick and battling cancer. So I just have this fear of that. And I was like, this just doesn't seem like a safe situation. So I called her doctor, and they said if we couldn't get her up that we had to call 911, and that they were working on getting a mobile nurse out to us, because that's one thing that was awesome and put into place is my mom is homebound just because of her mobility or lack thereof. And so they were working on getting one out to us, but obviously wouldn't be as soon as 911. And so I called 911. I hadn't called it in forever, lucky enough. But when you call, they give you options, and one of them is medical. So that was what I selected. And they were really quick to get out here. It was three awesome guys, and they came in, they checked her vitals. And then thank goodness they could get her up. They kind of like, from behind and they walked her slowly to her chair where she always sits. And so I was grateful that her vitals looked stable. So I didn't feel like a trip in the ambulance to the emergency was needed, because that's more traumatizing to her. And then she doesn't get comfortable. She's getting poked and prodded and all the things. So, and that she was sitting in her chair. I was very grateful for that. And so I just got her water because she was just thirsty and she hadn't eaten. And now it's like an hour past when she usually does. So grateful for these guys. My mom is one of the sweetest women ever. And she kept going, do you have the number or I can write a letter and say how wonderful you guys are? I mean, she's just grateful to me. She's grateful to everyone, but it's just the emotions that were going on for me. I was panicked. I was scared. I was like, felt so guilty. I remember sitting with her before the ambulance came, because when she was propped up against the door, and I just felt like crying. I just was holding her hand and I was so scared, and I just wanted to cry, but I I just was holding it together because my daughter was there and I didn't want to scare my mom, but I held her hand and I just kept going, I love you so much, mom. I love you so much. And it's just all the feels that go on with this. And it's just, I just remember after all this, like having that feeling of like, how did we get here? Like, how did I get here as a caregiver? As I never knew this chapter was going to come. My mom is older for her generation. She had me at 42, but you never think you're going to be the one that's there when your parent falls and have to take care of them. And I remember thinking, I, I wasn't trained in this. I'm not equipped for this. But thank goodness I had things in place for when they did come and they were asking, they're like, are you her power of attorney? What medications is she on? So I had all that stuff because I could think clearly because I am my mom's advocate. I am the one who's taking care of her. So even in the panic and the overwhelm and guilt and sadness, all the things, the emotions that I was feeling, thank God I had that. So if you're ever in this situation, if you in the sandwich, please make sure you subscribe to this channel because my goal is to reach as many people in the sandwich generation as possible because I don't want us to feel alone in this because this is one of the biggest chapters I really believe in our lives. And we don't need to not feel alone in this because it is all the feels. And I've had too many conversations with friends and other people. I support people one-on-one through my company, the Sandwich Gen, because it was so needed. And that is one of the biggest ones is they're like, I feel like this, or I feel like I'm angry at my parents. I feel like I'm frustrated at them and they feel really guilty for that. And I'm like, oh, me too. Like I love my mom. I love that she's here. It's one of the best gifts ever. But I'm like, I have waves of anger and frustration because I'm frustrated that I don't have the mom that raised me. I'm frustrated that I'm here. I'm frustrated that she has Alzheimer's and I can't have a conversation with her that lasts, she can't remember. I can't build on any conversations. So what I tell my friends is I was like, this is so normal. It's so normal to grieve someone that's still here with us. It's so heavy. It's so much. And it's like nothing else I've ever gone through. I lost my dad when I was 20, and that was huge. And I feel like that's kind of when a little bit the roles started reversing with my mom, but it it's just all the feels. And I like sharing what I've gone through and what I'm currently going through on a daily basis so people can find themselves in my story and my experience. And again, not feel alone and help them with what works for me and my mom and help lighten their load in this can be very heavy, heavy time. And I always say it's not if, it's when you'll be in the sandwich generation, because unless you've lost your parents before they started showing signs of needing support in any way, you are going to be in the sandwich generation. And it's kind of like, to me, it's like life's mean trick a little bit because I'm always glass half full. So me saying it's mean trick, but here we are in our midlife. Highly likely, if you're female, you're going through perimenopause or menopause and you're raising teens or off to college. All these emotions are already in life. And then add on aging parents and the stress, the financial stress, the emotional stress, the physical stress, the logistics stress, all the stressors. It's like, no wonder we're almost losing our minds. It's so, when people are like, I feel, and I'm like, you could tell me any emotion right now. And I'll be like, yep, any, just name any. And you are fully valid, fully understandable to feel that emotion because it is so much and we are going through a lot. So I think number one is just taking that deep breath, putting your hand on your heart and just going, and having compassion for ourselves because knowing how much it is, knowing how much is going on in our lives, knowing that every emotion under the rainbow can happen at any moment and for lots of moments, and that they're all okay is huge. Knowing that sibling challenges and roles back to our childhood is going to come up, knowing that we're going to feel like failures all the time with our parents because something can change in a moment, in a day, a fall, or you're realizing something needs to happen, medical situation. It's a lot. So I am always here to help give grace and like just shine light on and make it feel lighter, even though I'm covering some pretty heavy stuff. I mean, my mom bawling was one of the most traumatic things since she's moved in with us, and that's 3 years she's been living with us, and she does have Alzheimer's. There's a lot of things that do happen with us that my husband and I always say, laugh or cry, because you kind of have to do. It's like right on the edge of each other. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but it's right on the edge of each other, because in the moment you want to cry, but then like looking back, or if you talk about it, you want to laugh. And it's just, Brian and I actually started a podcast called Middle Age Management, and we started sitting down and talking about it because my mom lives with us. His parents live in Chicago. We're in Oregon, so they live thousands of miles away. But we're both in it, and he's in it with my mom, and it's so many crazy things that he's in the entertainment industry. He's a producer, and he's like, you can't script this. Like, it's so crazy what happens. And no, when no one talks about this, we get like, feel alone in it, because we're like, our parents' generation was private. Then if we get private about it and we don't share about it, it feels like you're drowning. It feels like, oh my gosh, is this normal? Am I okay? Are they okay? Like all the questions, you start spiraling. So I always want to shed light where people get the quietest. I'm like, no, 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 we're going to talk about it, because good things come from that. When we talk about it, think about what came from everyone talking about perimenopause, and like how like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone is making everyone feel like $1 million again. So I think it's so important for us to talk about this, share this with friends, watch things like this to get your community and your people, and see how many people are subscribing and liking it. Please do yourself so other people can find this. Because again, that's so my mission, to get out there in front of everyone in the sandwich generation. And it, it's just, it's a lot. It is so much. And I'm always trying to remind you and anyone in the sandwich generation that's balancing caregiving or feeling that, if we don't hear it enough, how awesome, needed, and appreciated you are to help your parent out in any way. Again, some people aren't that close to their parents, or they have a tricky situation where their parent has cognitive challenges and they're really angry. Everyone's situation is unique. No matter what your situation is, all are hard. They're all relative. So don't ever think you're like not in the sandwich generation just because your parents doesn't live in your house. They live down the street, they live across town or across the country or in another country. You are still navigating and worrying about them and trying to help them in some capacity. It's still emotional overload. So I never want anyone to be minimizing what their experience is, because they're all a lot. It's like when we had kids and your friend or you had one, and then one of your friends or you had three. Like I have three. And my friend that had one is like, well, yours is harder because you have three. And I was like, that's so not true, because when I had one, that was hard. So it's just all relative, if that makes sense. And whatever our situations are. And I just, like I was saying about the sibling challenges, the roles from our childhood are coming up. It is like you need some. I was just talking to my friend today, and she goes, yeah, my friends are saying I need therapy. And I was like, yes, and you just need to have some friends where you can just let it out. It's like that boiling pot of water of emotions, and if you don't lift that lid here and there to let that steam out, it's going to blow off. And when it blows off, then you don't have control over your emotions, and then you feel like you're spiraling and it's all like swallowing you up. Believe me, I'm say this from experience because I've been there, and it's not a fun place. So I personally don't want to be there again. That's why I share. So this is actually helpful for me. And I also encourage everybody else to share, because I don't want you to go through that. It is so lonely and isolating and overwhelming, and like you feel detached from everything. And that is a very scary place. So I don't want anyone to go there. That's why I talk about this easily and freely and openly and so authentically, and have nothing to share. And only want, I mean, I have nothing to hide. I only want to share everything that has served me and helped me through this. I am still in this. I am in the sandwich with you. I might just be a couple steps ahead. I've gone through this for 10 plus years with my mom and some sort of level. She's lived with us for 3, but I've gone through downsizing her and, moving her to a retirement home. And then she was in the retirement home for a year. And then that's when she was really showing signs of decline. And then she started just not getting herself involved with the social situations and wasn't going down for meals. And I was getting really worried. She was sleeping more. And then we got her assessed for cognitive challenge, and that's when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which was devastating, and felt alone. And I was like, so now what? Like looking at a doctor, looking at a neurologist who has these conversations every day and going, so now what? Now what do I do? And he's like, well, I mean, and I'm like, you can't support me? Like, who can then? And as I'm walking out the door, I kid you not, like, in every doctor's office, they kind of all look like, I'm walking out the door and there's this color printout on the bulletin board. That's the only thing that was on the bulletin board. And it was like, if your family member has Alzheimer's, and I need to find the picture because I did take the picture of it and I cannot find it. I need it. It's like I hate it and love it at the same time. But it's like, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. It was like 8 things of do not do. And I was like, awesome. I'm doing like 4 of those. It's like when we were newly parents and you'd read a parenting book or something and they'd be like, well, definitely, don't do this. You should be doing this. And you're like, well, I've been doing that and I didn't know better. And you do the best you can and what you're equipped with. And I kind of like walked out there. I'm holding my mom's hand. I don't think she realizes after being diagnosed with Alzheimer's what that even like the levity of it because she has Alzheimer's. And I just remember feeling the weight of the world on me. It was so heavy because I felt solely responsible for this human being that I love so much, who has done everything since the day I took my first breath for me. And here I am responsible for her. And one of the most devastating days of her life to be diagnosed with that. So it's a lot. I mean, I can't even, get through that, talking about that without tearing up because it was really heavy. And then also that there wasn't a support system at the ready to like walk away with. I was like, do I do cognitive therapy? Do I do this? And he's like, well, you can. And I was like, oh my God, are you the worst doctor ever? And by the way, getting into a neurologist is super hard. So it's not like you can be picky with them. And so anyway, one day I'll come up with a program for how they can support better. But until then, I am the program. But I really want to help and spread so much love and grace for any of us in the sandwich generation because in the last 18 minutes I've gone through like 2 huge days that I've had in the last 3 to 4 years of my life that are like almost, I mean, you just want to crawl in a ball and cry and go to sleep and you can't because you're in charge of many little the other human beings that you've given birth to and one that has given birth to you, or it's your dad, or it's just people you love and want to support in the best way possible. So please subscribe and please like and share this with your friends because again, it is my hugest goal to get in front of everyone in the sandwich generation to help support and make this heavy stage feel a lot lighter for them because we're all in this together. And the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it, the more we share what's good in this space. And I'll be on here. This is one of many, and I'll be covering many topics like long-term living decisions and starting the conversation and sibling challenges, care things, all the things, because I have so much to share. I will be on here. So subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And I just am sending you the biggest hug and high five because you are awesome. You are needed. You are so appreciated to be wanting to help your parent in the first place and in any capacity, and also wanting to get more information and wanting to help yourself because you are so important in this picture, and you getting and putting your own oxygen mask on and making sure you are taken care of and doing any sort of self-care, like those non-negotiables that fill up your cup and you have energy for the day. Mine is getting up an hour earlier than my family so I can do what I need to be the best I can be as a caregiver for kids and mom, and navigate my business and life and wifing all the things. I do that, and I'll share many others, but I will be covering so much topics and making them lighter, and hoping that my through my experiences and my stories that you can find yourself in this and not feel alone and not feel as overwhelmed. So sending you a huge hug and high five, and make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.